Okay, let's start. Hi, everyone. My name is Kateryna Tkachenko, and today we will debate about the essence of corporate well-being. If you still think that well-being in the corporate SG is just a formal checklist, let's mention some numbers. The statistic shows that 9 of 10 employees consider the benefits package when evaluating an employer, and 60% of them consider mental health benefit as crucial one for the next job selection. And more than half of Gen Zers and millennials consider well-being programs important or extremely important for them than looking for a job. And around 70% of employers who works with the organization with well-being programs like their jobs more and recommend it to other people. From the other side, 84% of employers reported higher employer productivity and performance due to well-being plans, and with high level return on investments, a savings on healthcare costs and hiring process. At the same time, according to Gallup research, there is a global turnover and lost productivity cost of $322 billion due to employee burnout, with 58% of employees considering themselves to be struggling. So almost half of global workforce is operating in terms of survival mode. So a lot to think about. I should also mention here that the availability of different well-being programs varies from different regions. And for example, in North America, we have more than 50% of companies with different kind of well-being programs and initiatives, while in Europe it's only 25% and the rest of the world less than 10%. So we have a very diversified picture on well-being, corporate well-being in terms of globe distribution, but still this industry of corporate well-being and wellness solutions is evolving and growing, and we expect it then by 2026 it will raise around $100 billion, with the largest share for North America and Europe. And a brief spotlight here in terms of well-being interpretation. Now, recently Gallup research on well-being perception among that covers almost the whole world population, defined the 5 main well-being pillars that make people thrive: career well-being, social well-being, financial well-being, physical well-being, and community well-being. So a lot to work. Still, the main focus in corporate well-being is focusing on improving health and productivity. But at the moment, many companies already approach more attentively mental well-being and emotional well-being, making additional efforts to incorporate it in their culture and in their strategies. So corporate and employee well-being strategic vision now is a must-to-do on the list of companies and employers, despite their scale and area of operations. However, till today, we have so many different perceptions to the corporate well-being agenda, and still the question is open if we're truly incorporate a well-being in our companies, or we are putting a new trendy labels on the old habits. So let's explore together corporate well-being, how it should look like and how we could use it for better of our companies and teams. And our special guest today, Anna Tolmachova, HR Executive, Director, People and Culture at Metro Ukraine, board member, mentor, recently recognized by Forbes as one of the top HR directors in Ukraine 2025. Our congratulations, Anna. And Anastasiia Sharipova, leader of well-being program for corporates, certified biodynamic craniosacral therapist, physiotherapist, yoga instructor. So, good afternoon, Anna and Anastasiia. Thank you for joining us today. And my first question will be to Anna. Importance of well-being approach in people management is largely debated today. And as we see by the numbers, the companies, it put it in the ECG strategies, different kind of policies, and propose different benefits, individual benefits and workplace benefits, and well-being focus is now a trendy point during hiring and retention and employee brand strategies. However, still perceptions how corporate well-being agenda should look like varies a lot from company to company, and often limited to the formal checklist or some kind of workshops, some activity that's very often not connected or affected on well-being in general. How do you think, what is the main reason of this kind of different perceptions and policies and strategies in terms of corporate world, and what benefits and values are brought to the table, then company make and implement a strategy, not fake it?
Okay, thank you very much for invitation and for this question. It's really like a little bit tricky question, because there is no right answer. What is the right well-being strategy and right approach to well-being? Because it should be for sure personalized for the company strategy. And I can here talk only from my experience at Metro Ukraine, because we are building our HR strategy around well-being of our employees, starting from like 2017, I guess. It's like was long before COVID and before full-scale invasion. And I can reflect here that this diversity in corporate approaches to well-being mainly reflects two things. First things, as in other HR direction as well, this is the maturity of organization overall, and the maturity of organizational approach to employees, to HR strategy, to human capital, whatever, and the people, the attitude to people, the organization has at this level, and how the organization is considering their people. And the second, like for me, it's more interesting one, it's the level of interest in long-term human sustainability, or rather focus and considering the well-being benefits or well-being tools, let's say, only like a tool for supporting operational productivity of people. So, and that's the issue, because many companies today, as you mentioned already, are including well-being into their ESG strategies, HR strategies, sustainability strategies, but too often, it's still remain on some kind of webinar, superficial level, and we see some yoga classes, some free fruits, maybe mental health webinar, monthly, quarterly, annually, and that's it. And it doesn't mean that this is bad things. They are also very important, and they helps. They also make a difference at some level, but from my experience, I can say that the real difference, continuing sustainable difference for employees happens when companies shift the mindset from offering just benefits to building the well-being centric environment in the organization. Personally, me, I don't like the word culture. It's a little bit spoiled. Somehow, I really love the word environment, and for me, it really makes some sense, but that's different conversation for sure. It's about integrating care, autonomy, flexibility, emotional safety, let's say, some psychological resilience, into all people-related things, like how we lead, like how we structure our work, how we support our people on every level. And it's rare. It's still rare, even after COVID, even during the time of full-scale invasion, it's still rare, because it requires leadership commitment, first of all. Leadership commitment for continuing for long-term investment into this well-being-centric environment. And the issue is, and the thing that organization and leadership team should accept like an axiom, like a rule, that you cannot improve employees' well-being much. You cannot build or push from scratch the person's well-being. you at your workplace just can support, not spoil, not damage, not make it like some toxic environment that will spoil the well-being, but you cannot build it from scratch for sure. And all the investments, they are just supporting. They are giving choices. They're cultivating some self-care rules. They are like, make it legal, let's say, to care for yourself, even in the workplace. And it's investment into feelings of employees that they are people and they are human beings at work. They are not just resources, or they are not just functions. They are treated there like humans, and this is some kind of experience that support their well-being. But unfortunately, not making this 100% great well-being. So that's it. But this is the difficult decision, because it's a promise. It's a promise to your people, and this is long way, especially for Ukraine and for companies that operates in Ukraine, because unfortunately, historically, we have very low self-care skills. We are not taught these skills, unfortunately, during our childhood, somewhere in school, and we need to highlight this when we are adult already. So that's it. There are a lot of things around only well-being benefits. It's manager education, about emotional leadership, some trauma-aware communications. It's even how to lead teams in uncertainty, in remote mode, etc., etc. So for me, well-being in the company, it's not add-on. It shouldn't be just add-on. It's a kind of cultural foundation, and it's a choice of the leaders of organization to build it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anna. It's so interesting that you first that you said about environment. Really, supportive environment is more like give more holistic overview, yes, of this well-being in general. But I absolutely also agree with you that it depends so many from cultural aspects. I mean, for example, distribution of well-being activities within regions. Also, one of the reasons that is considered the different culture perception, yes, and they call in work culture. For example, in Ukraine, for example, in America or in Europe. So really, every country has its difference, and it affects the steps that we make towards well-being. But absolutely share with you the idea that well-being mindset is the point there we all should go and move forward. And I have another question for you regarding well-being best practices. Please share what you implement in your company, how you develop your strategy, how you decide what activities should be implemented in your teams and for maybe individual employees. And I understand that in terms of situation that we have now in Ukraine, except global strategy, you have local strategy that is more focused on mental health and inclusiveness.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, globally, Metro AG, our corporation, it doesn't have one well-being strategy for all countries, and I find it extremely wise decision, because they foster and they encourage the countries to find their own local way and to listen to local needs of the workforce, of our employees, to find the local well-being strategy. And we have kind of global principles of diversity and inclusion, but it's also a lot of freedom and encourage to localize the diversity and inclusion approach as well as well-being. But I'll try to cut the long story short about our practices in Metro Ukraine, because it's a lot of work done to build this well-being centric environment, and we actually built all our HR strategy around the well-being. and about building this employee experience. So we consider our well-being 4 directions. It's physical well-being or physical safety, which is now very important. It's mental, social, and financial well-being. And our trick is that we cover all the 4 parts and create a balanced toolkit and balanced approach in our environment to give personalized enough experience for our employees, but to make it holistic, combining all these 4 elements. And this approach means that we count well-being in every HR product and every practice. It's not something separate. It's not separate direction in HR. It's not separate manager in HR managing well-being. It means that we consider this in all our practices, in learning, in development, in career management, in total rewards, etc., etc. So in different spheres that we have inside our people practices in the organization. And the same, I can say the same about diversity and inclusions. It's just a red line across all the people practices in organization. Sure, we have a lot of benefits for choice, like financial aids, psychological consultation, legal, nutrition, coaching, consultations for all employees in Ukraine. It's medical and life insurance. It's medical checkup, annual medical checkup, uniform, laundry and ironing service for their store employees. It's partner discounts for sport, medical, leisure, entertainment, and not only services. It's when other partners give some deeper discounts for our employees to use their services. And we have more than 60 partners. At different stage of our people strategy evolution or maturity, we had different initiatives with different purposes towards well-being. Additionally to these benefits. At the very beginning, we had large program. It was 3-year program for all the managers or people managers or leaders in the organization, where we built and developed the care to their leadership style. And when we come to well-being environments, is the first thing that should be covered. You should define and decide what leadership style you will cultivate in the organization, because it's the managers who build the environment. Actually, it's not HR or board members who are doing it. Actually, they are influencing, they are shaping, but they are not building it in the everyday mode. And also we had a lot of communications and learning about nonviolent communication tools and personal resilience for the regular employees, not for managers only. During the COVID, we had a big remote management program for our managers and personal resilience program for all. And at the beginning of the full scale, we were on the first months already. In 2022, we launched the psychological support initiatives for all our employees. It was called Side by Side, where we discovered new senses, when we trying to find new senses for living. That was very flexible program that 2,000 of our employees visited it, and you can listen, you could ask questions, you could share, you could collaborate with others, just whatever that could help you to cope with all the emotions, questions, and thoughts that came to everyone's mind during this first months of the full-scale invasion. And it was also included some core mastermind formats without experts, without psychologists, but only our employees and volunteers who led these masterminds, where employees gathered to have these small communities of trust to discuss some topics and to have this, like they say, the only one calm island in the uncertain ocean or uncertain sea of the world. And we also talked about a lot about how to support children, how to cope with grief, how to find senses, and so on and so on. And later, it was already the second year of the full-scale invasion, we built well-being communities, metromates. I guess that these well-being communities maybe was like the top of our well-being evolution, because it was fully employee-generated flow. We asked our employees voluntarily to join the communities by streams. It was physical well-being, mental well-being, social well-being. They appointed the leaders, they volunteered to contribute in content, they organized the meeting in different formats, they asked us to find them some speakers, some coaches, some whatever role they needed to generate the content for themselves. And it was really self-supporting communities. They existed for 2 years and they gathered 600 of our employees. We won a lot of awards for metromates and side-by-side programs. And it was really for us very beneficial, because maybe at some point of view, we didn't believe that it's may be possible to gather and to unite 600 of employees into communities, and to expect them to generate content without HR push, without HR ideas, without HR managing. We were only creating environment for them. Technical tools, some experts, some facilitation, some tips and tricks, if they ask, but we didn't make in the agenda. We didn't make the agenda actually for these metromates. And in parallel, for sure, it's like a big programs, big projects in different stages of our evolution. And in parallel, there is a hard work also in other directions. It's peer-to-peer recognition, for example. It's inclusion and biasless communication. It's a workplace safety mindset, where we have also a lot of projects and a lot of efforts placed in there. It's all these things, they are interconnected. Why? Because well-being is the center of all the HR stacks, as I mentioned, and well-being environment is in the center of HR strategy. That's why all these things, they are complementary. They are kind of puzzles that are delivering this well-being centric environment to our employees.
Well, it sounds so engaging, I should say, that despite this situation, the difficult situation in Ukraine, still there are a lot that we could do to maintain well-being, to maintain people, and this initiative about a metro man, yes, it sounds absolutely amazing how grassroots initiatives could work, even in so specific setup. I also very like that you then you mentioned about diversity, global and local strategy, and in general, really, then we're talking about diversity. We'll a little bit talk about this afterwards. Yes, but diversity, it really means flexibility, yes, so that we could implement different approaches depending on the different group, their requirements, different generation, different situation we have in locally, and different teams. So it's also very, I think, important to keep focus on diversified approaches in your strategy. Thank you so much, Anna. And now I have a question to Anastasiia. From your perspective, how do you think, what are the markers and basics to keep a healthy well-being environment in the company? We already talk a lot about environment and how it's important, and please share your vision.
Yeah. Thank you. Hello, everyone. So, yeah, some things I will repeat, I think. So it's really, really important to make it holistic. It's not a checklist when you can take 1 or 2 points, involve in the practice and say, okay, we now build like well-being strategy in the company. And for example, if you offer yoga lessons or something, but there is toxic environment in the team, no normal teamwork inside, so it's just a facade and it doesn't really work. So there really I agree with Anna here that it can just go from top down. It's really decision of senior leaders to maintain the culture, to build this culture, and really to respect the limits, I think, first of all, for themselves to maintain work-life balance. Because if the top management they're working all evenings, they have no like weekends or something, then emailing at like 12 p.m. To the others. So other people, they can't take other strategies. It's really forced to work in this environment and really pushing and not really healthy. So this point is important. And then it's like 3E, it's education, environment, and everyday action. Here is really the art of small steps. It's what we need to build it in the team for the company. And this is the role of education. So workshops, trainings, all this diversity of things that can be applied in the company. Why it's important to educate people that it's really important. It's sounds now really common, but I think like from my clients that I see, really not everyone doing this, and really not everyone understand the importance of all these things like stress regulation, emotional intelligence, how to prevent the burnout. And then like the first task is really to educate people to know that it's important to do this. And second one is to give tools that can work in this team, like really for this team to give some diversity, to try this and to choose what suits to this company better. So I think that for the company, this what we can make real or what we can make fake. It depends on the top management. It depends on what we can do also when we're receiving some tools, when we're receiving the support of the company. Maybe it's really important to come back to ourselves, and if it wasn't the culture from the childhood, then we really need to create it inside us. And I will give later some tools, what we can make for ourselves. It's really small steps, but we need to do it regularly. We need to maintain ourselves regularly. To go somewhere for trainings, to go for workshop, it's really important. But we are working every day, and every day we need to do something to support ourselves, to feel our body, to feel when we already in stress and the body is tense. So this is what we can learn and to do for ourselves. And well-being, it's not like something like, it's not about perfection. It's a choice and it's everyday action. Yeah.
Thank you, Anastasiia. And Anna, the next question to you. What is your checklist to do, like preliminary checklist to do to foster well-being culture in, let's say, foster well-being environment in the company? For example, if it's no matter what size, but like first steps to do.
Okay, the first step I already mentioned. Actually, the first step is for sure it's to decide on about leadership style, like it's a kind of leadership modeling. Because if leaders don't embody well-being, if they are just ignore boundaries, they do not care for some free time for employees, for their work-life balance, for their personal needs. They are not listening to their employees. Unfortunately, no initiatives from HR side will work. No webinar, no learning program, no benefits. Unfortunately, it will be spoiled by the leader's behavior. And that's how well-being starts, not with yoga class. The well-being start with their like emotionally safe and respectful feedback. It starts in the meeting rooms. It starts with the style of communication, not only from leaders to employees, but also between employees. And it's about all these behavioral patterns that we consider okay and not okay inside the organization. And the second should be for sure the equipment. The equipment for leaders to understand how to show and demonstrate and radiate this caring and respecting behavior. It's not only about learning, it's about procedures, it's about tips and tricks, it's about some rules and team agreements and organizational agreements on how we do in that or those situation, what we consider as okay, great, exceptional, and what we do not tolerate at all, for example, just for everybody to understand the agreement, and even for employees to understand the standards that leaders should follow. Also, the very important thing, even before benefits, even before investing into like a lot of consultation, psychology line, and so on, it's about just business processes and about the design of work and like routines that our people do every day, coming to office or working remotely and so on. It's about flexibility of schedule, of some whatever workplaces, location they can use. It's about realistic goals. It's about transparency. It's about having some space, some room for recovery. It's about autonomy and empowerment and ability and like permission to voice up your idea, and it's about enough channels and mechanism to say something, to report something, to give a feedback, to ask for feedback, and to have some response on the needs that you are communicating to your manager, to your organization as well. So it's like kind of very important environmental elements, because also without these business processes and work routines adjusted to the balance, unfortunately, it will be very difficult to compensate through some add-ons to, for example, with benefits or learning program. And also I need to mention that it's important thing to consider, like to enable the environment, it's to build all the like benefits and options like a flexible toolkit for employees to feel this personalization opportunity, and for employee to choose what he or she is needed now, what he or she is needed tomorrow, and so on and so on, just to have some variety and like permission to choose, because one size fits all, it doesn't work. You may have like 1,000, but actually employees should be empowered and taught how to use this with the benefit for themselves, how to understand their needs, how to treat their needs, how to respect their needs, and we should support them in making these choices, not just providing and that's all, but also teaching them how to use better all the value proposition that we are providing. And maybe the last one, it's also was a little bit like insight for us. And also it was confirmed previous year when we passed top employer certification. It was like separate pool of question in the questionnaire of Top Employer Institute. It was employee listening strategy. And I just thought, we build it. We actually build it for well-being. Just to have enough iterations and enough evidences, enough channels for our employee to be heard. And it's really important, it really works, because for business, it's very convenient to plan, for example, for one financial year and to cycle some initiatives because we cycle budget, because we're planning budget, we're making some forecasts and so on and so on. Sometimes their business cycle, it's not the same as a life cycle for every certain employee in the organization. That's why this listening strategy, when we ask, what we ask, how they can say something when we do not ask in this moment, this is really important. So that's it. I guess these 5 things, it's kind of core in building this environment.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's really, I think, personalization now it's like general trend, yes, because person, he or she wants to feel they value, their ownership to the business, to any kind of business. So I think it's, it's one of the trendy things for tomorrow, and more you give these possibilities to choose, to show that you care exactly to this person. It's give more loyalty from her side to the company, and keep and retention is growing. So I think that is the main for us to retain the best of the best in your company. And thank you so much, Anna. Now I want to return back to Anastasiia, and we prepare some useful practices that you could implement, integrate into work routine for you and your teams, like individual work or group work, and to show a little bit what we're talking about today, yes, how we could help our employees to keep well-being. And it's not only yoga classes, it's like classical perception, yes. So Anastasiia, the floor is yours. Please share more tools.
Thank you, Kateryna. So this is the basic tools that I usually give to the clients. You can do it like just for yourself. You can do it in the team, especially in the beginning, just to support this environment, to use it like educational as a tool to show how it works, and really to try to involve into routine, because this is what you need to do every day. So first thing is awareness of our body. When we like in stress, it can be one big or several small stress, the muscles of the body reacting. Sometimes we notice it, but most probably if it's happen often, we cannot notice it. So I really recommend to put a timer for, it's good if you can do it like each hour or each 2 hours at least. Just scan the body, feel how you're sitting, drop like your pelvis down, feel your shoulders, drop your shoulders down, make deep inhale, exhale, and just come back with all sensations to your body. Check the jaw muscles. This is really, really important thing. We need to make it like something that we doing during the day several times. This is one thing. The second thing that I usually ask to do my clients, especially if we're working a lot with computer, to relax the eyes from side to side. Even with like very good technologies, it influences. Also, the eye nerve is like very short nerve from the brain, so it's very close connection. And from the eyes, we can really relax, like mentally, like more like complex, make more complex relaxation. And the exercise that is very good working is just, you can try even now, just warm up your hands and you closing your eyes and just place your palms or your fingers without pressure. The idea is to stop innervating the eye nerve. It means that you close their connection with any light, and you just look into this like darkness. In the beginning, you will see like a lot of white spots or some colorful. It means that signal is still present, so the nerve is still working with the signals, and then it will be like more darkness. When you practice it, sometimes it's real like a wave to the whole, like the brain area. It can be really good relaxation, and it's, I don't know, 1 minute, 2 minutes. So it quickly and very resultative thing. Also, I really recommend to dive more to tapping. Now it's very important direction that a lot of psychologists use, a lot of coach use it. It's quite simple. It's very easy to taught how to do it, but it's really resultative. I will show you just one of this. You can do it when you have like some idea of any problem that you want to disconnect a little bit from this problem, like to make a step behind, to have space to react to this. But you can do it just in everyday routine. So it's several points. The first one is the middle of the palm rib, and you just tapping like this. It shouldn't be too much. It's not like deep pressure. It's work with nerve system, so it's gentle touch. It can be 4, 5, not so long. And then we go into the face, and one point is in inner side of the eye. So you're just tapping several times here, and then outside, also several times. And then you're going underneath the eye, and then under the nose, and then under the lip. You can finish on the other side of the, like on the other arm, the other hand on the middle, or you can do just to one side. You can do also to two eyes or just for one eye. So just try and just feel yourself. Most probably you will feel it's like a wave of relaxation, of settling down of nerve system. If the person don't really know how to contemplate embodiment processes, it can take time to do it. But if you can feel the body quite well, you can feel it like from the beginning. It's very easy. And the last one that I want to share today, it's breathing. A lot of type of breathing we can do. Usually what is working in daily life, in everyday life, it's something simple. And one of them is to inhale. The first one, just exhale, make a long exhalation. You can do it from the lips or from the nose, just make it longer. It's also can awake your parasympathetic reaction, like way to relaxation. And the other thing is like to open the diaphragm, so you can make inhale and just keep the air inside, but not here. So not just open your chest, drop a little bit down. So diaphragm is muscle here in the lower ribs, and you will feel like it's pressed slightly down. Don't push too much, but let to the air to go down also. You will feel it. Hold a little bit, not too much. It should be just comfortable. And then again, deep exhale from the lips or from the nose. So you exhaling, and again scan the body and notice the difference. When we combine, like comparing, we really learn how to sense the body. So try to do it with a timer, because if it's not habit, we will not do it.
Yes, thank you, Anastasiia, for sharing some tips and takeaways with us. And when we prepare to our online discussion, we talk a lot that in any case, any kind of well-being, it started from a physical state, so it is the priority. In any case, but then it goes far beyond the physical well-being only. And as we already talked with Anna, that it's really need more holistic approach than we are considering already at the level of mindset, at the level of overall well-being of employee. And even more statistics shows that employees, when they are looking for a job, or then they're considering stay or not to stay, for them is very important that the employer could give them this fit to their lifestyle. Yes, so we're already talking about more to meet expectations from employees to create the environment where people could thrive and to realize their general lifestyle habits. They could actually, we spent almost 1/3 of our life at the workplace. Yes, so that means that people expect to have all necessary elements of well-being at the workplace. And now we are switching to Q&A session. If you have questions, please write them in the chat. We have 10-15 minutes to the questions. And the first questions actually referring to the diversity that we already mentioned and the mindset. It's about different generations and different perception of and requirements for well-being programs and benefits from the employees of different generations. And Anna, my question is to you: does it make sense to diversify the strategy? Then you are hiring and then you are managing team. If it really works better, we already talk about this, that you give the choice, but still, do you have like the core part of the program that is basic for everybody, or you or your strategy depends on the teams, on the location, maybe some other arguments, the points that you use, then you develop your strategy?
Actually, for sure, it makes sense to diversify the well-being strategy, or like well-being components of your employee value proposition as well to their like generation needs. But it shouldn't be like stereotyping. It should be more like personalizing. About personalization, it means that you should diversify the opportunities that the employees have, and you should give a choice, but you as an employer, you as an HR shouldn't make a decision for your, like, instead of employee. You may help to make decision with learning, with some tips and tricks, with some education and communication and clarifications, or with the like third part support, like I mean consultancy support on this, but you shouldn't stereotype and making the decision instead of your employees, because there is no only generations. It's I think that focusing only on generation criteria, it's maybe a little bit simplification. Not looking at the age and their like the year of birth. It may be different lifestyles, different life stages, different triggers, stressors, and some personal needs. They may differ even within one generation for sure. So, and even when we are talking about hiring, sometimes it's a good like kind of marketing thing to highlight some things that you would like to highlight because you know your target audience for this vacancy or for this project, for this, I don't know, traineeship program may be used, and they their attention will be caught by some perks that are connected like with their generation mostly. It makes sense for sure from like marketing point of view, but generally if you're talking about the general employee value proposition, I guess it's not the case. It's not the case just to focus on generation only and to make this decision instead of them.
Very, very interesting approach. So the personalization is the key, and I absolutely agree with you that when we are looking the statistics, it really some type of stereotypization. Yes, then we just, oh, this is all millennials, they are so, and Gisers, they are so. But really, I think that even in terms of generation, people they're diverse. So it's obviously that they have different perceptions and different requirements or expectations. So personalization approach is a key here, and it will be also my takeaway here from today's discussion.
Sorry. It's a principle in diversity and inclusion, nothing for us without us. So we create this environment full of choices, full of options to choose, but we are not choosing.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing this. And we also have one more question for you from Ola. I have a question. Thanks for your job, Anna. First of all, you have a big soul. How do you collect the feedback from employees after well-being activities?
Actually, we have several channels where how we collect the feedback. We have ChefBot. It's a chatbot, but the name is ChiefBot. Where we have the permanent button where employee can provide the feedback about our employee value proposition. It means about any benefit, any program, any project, any iteration, any communication that they got in email, in ChefBot or some kind of other corporate channels. So, and it really works. As we have 96% of our employees using every day ChiefBot because they have a lot of services there. So that's why they are using it. And they are providing us feedback on a daily basis. For sure, after every webinar or whatever, we are sending this like happy sheet, happy electronic sheet, I think. And some people can put like, would you recommend from 0 to 10 there, or they can just write a random idea in this feedback form in the ChiefBot, and it works actually because sometimes they are not giving feedback directly to the webinar they have. For example, on Friday we had the webinar about their anxiety, about the anxiety. And the feedback was super good, where a lot of participants, they say thank you a lot, and they put personal messages to the Total Reward team who provided this meeting with psychologist for them. But after this, on Monday, we got several feedbacks from the ChiefBot with the ideation of other topics from this specific expert they would like to have, and the request of the contact of this expert because somebody needed to have, I guess, the personal meeting with the expert, address some requests. So it's interesting, but that's how we do. But for sure, we also have an employee experience specialist team. It's not like in other companies, sometimes it's called HR business partner or people partner, but this role is different in Metro Ukraine. This employee experience team, they are also like the point of contact for employees where they can also share some feedback for this. We have a lot of other things. We have focus groups annually and sometimes semi-annually on different topics, because we follow the principles nothing for us without us, and we making all the HR products in a co-creation with the employees. Sometimes it's influencers and the leaders of public opinions from our employees. Sometimes it's a volunteering team when we just send an invitation and whoever wants, they can invite. We are making a road shows across the country, so it's not only for Kyiv, it's not only for remote employees. We are doing it also in locations. It's twice a year. Once a year it's leadership team, and once a year it's by HR team. We are making these open discussions, the focus groups, the Q&A session, different format in order for our employees to pull. But actually, I do not feel like we have we do not have enough feedback. Sometimes it's even too much because the ideas become too crazy, I guess.
But I think that having feedback is the most valuable thing. I think that it gives you possibility, to calibrate your activities. Yes. And to tailor it to the people, because very often, for example, a leadership, they think that team needs one thing, and team think that they have absolutely another thing,
Yes. Our openness, actually, it's a two-sided coin, because, for example, on monthly basis, we have a town hall for all the employees in the company where they can also ask questions directly to the CEO, to board members, and so on. So, and they do not hesitating to ask even some question that shouldn't be asked publicly. Sometimes, actually, we had a lot of, but it's a transparency. So they are asking publicly, we are answering publicly, actually. But sometimes they are also contacting us in Telegram, in some social media, for example, just to ask something they would like to ask, but they hesitated to do it in the town hall. But actually, the level of openness and transparency is pretty high. And if you would like to ask, you have a lot of channels to ask publicly, anonymously also, because we have the compliance and the human rights portal when they can state a lot of things, and mobbing portal, not just sharing the name and even the location. So, and they also are doing it very regularly. We have this mechanism how to react on it and how to make some investigation, providing feedback and so on.
Yeah, just to conclude that feedback is really the element that helps to develop any well-being program and policy on the next level. Yes, because then you have the best fit, then it works, then you reach your goals. And yes, I think it's so important. And I do believe that that's why this year Metro was also recognized as one of the best employer in Ukraine. So I think now we know why. And really then you making all your policies with well-being centric. So the human in the center. There is no any additional words to say, just that then you're focusing on people evaluate this, and they want to work with you and in your teams and support your goals, and I do believe to help your business thrive. Yes, that is also an important part. So I see that there is no additional questions. Thank you so much, Anna, Anastasiia, for your time, for your expertise, for your sharing. It was interesting and helpful, and I do believe that we should creating more such kind of discussions to foster well-being culture and mindset. That is so important, especially in corporate world, that we are going from formalities and making well-being really closer to people and creating this well-being environment together. Thank you so much, and thank all participants for joining us today, for your questions, and for your attention.
Thank you very much.
Yes, people Thank you. Thank you all, and looking for our social media pages for more events. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Take care.
Have a
Bye.
nice day. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.